mustache of Adolf
Pretty
Hitler.
much the only thing that I think will work right now.
Luna, can you
I mean, your hair doesn't really looks like Adolf Hitler.
Luna,
Where's
if
the
you
No,
sideburn?
like Hitler has
Where
like
is
the
the
hair is
sideburn?
actually a bit forward, not that back, and also the mustache is like a roof shape, not like
Luna, can
straight
you put on
down.
your signature mustache filter? I'm going to send.
Um,
There's
is
like a
this hey
mustache
hey?
filter, if
Is
I'm not
this
mistaken.
class devoted to Hitler?
No, we are not like we're not like Jewish.
I
We're not
mean, I'm
Jewish
just
and push the
asking.
band.
I mean, is this class devoted to Hitler? Because everyone's talking about Hitler today, and for some reason,
Okay, this is not
Luna
a
used
history
AI and
class.
grow a beard. And
Somebody,
for some reason, Luna used AI and grow a beard.
someone started.
Let us start.
I'm not sorry, but still, you're not Hitler.
Okay, guys,
Yeah.
let's start. Okay, so does anyone remember what metaphors and similes are?
Yeah, they all exaggerate things.
I think you have that confused.
Yeah, metaphors exaggerates. Yeah.
Okay, can
Metaphors
anyone
compare
tell me exactly what it is?
metaphors compare two things.
Yep. Both metaphors and similes compare two things. Metaphors, similes use like and as, while metaphors don't use like and as. Personification, this is a new thing, but most of you guys are third grade, right? I'm assuming?
Me and Lena are fifth grade.
I mean, most of
And
you guys
Jenny.
are past third grade, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, then you probably know this in another language. Personification in Vietnamese, also known as nhân hóa, you would know it as making something that is inanimate, an object that is not living. For example, the grass, uh, some, the grass, the sky, the sun, things like that, and talking about it or writing about it in a manner that suggests that it is a human doing human things, talking, things like that. I think you guys have had some practice with personification, but especially I think in literature, in at school. But like, of course, let us see how you guys can adapt here. Okay, so we'll be doing what we will. So today we will be doing what is describing nature. There's a few different things about describing nature compared to other things. And one of the most important things is that you need to be able to try and capture the essence of of what sorry. One of the things is that you need to be able to almost transcribe to them how it is. For example, you might see in this picture here, you can say that, oh, it's just a field. But the thing is, when you look at this, it's pretty, right? It's not just some field. So you need to talk more about other things. For example, not just the field, but maybe the blurry, maybe the mountains that have been blurred by the clouds, the setting sun, for example, the cranes, things like that. So instead of just focus, again, I have stressed this a lot, but a lot, sometimes you need to focus on more things than just the main part because it would diversify your writing and would more, and one of the most important things is that it will really, really amplify how people would perceive your writing. Let's see, if you just if you add in like the background details, if you add in storylines in these things, then it would make it a lot more interesting. It would make it a lot there would be a lot more depth, and there would be a lot more room for you to expand from you just describing this part. Like for example, let me come up with something. So for example, you can say that, for example, you can talk about the fields, but what caught your, the fields were green, but what caught your eye was the flock of cranes that flew by. Um, and then you might be able to segue into a story, or maybe into some type of lore, I think. Maybe if you want to, about a kind of about connect some connection to the birds, or you can do it
Your
with any
mix a
other
bit small.
huh?
You make a
Uh,
bit small.
Okay, 1 second.
We can barely hear
Is
you.
this better?
Okay.
Is this better?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to change the volume here.
Okay.
It is better, but now I feel like it's too loud.
Okay, 1 second.
Right.
All right, is here good?
Yeah.
This thing has like a knob, but you can spin it like 100 rounds, so I don't really know when to stop.
Right.
Okay. Uh, so wait, where was I? 1 second. Okay, so one of the great ways that you can do with describing things is that you can segue into different parts and different things that you want to discuss, or you want to kind of like, or you want to try and talk about and just express in your writing. One of the main things here is that you can see that when you try to describe things like colors, shapes, sizes, and details, you would see that it would be more interesting. And one more thing is that when doing creative writing, one of the things I highly recommend you do is to expand on your vocabulary, because you can't say that this is just green. It has to be some sort of green. I mean, like for example, maybe the sky. The sky has many different colors. You can't just say, oh, it's blue or it's purple or you need to, sometimes of course, there's a lot of use of normal colors, but most of the time people would rather you use things like, mm, sorry, most of the time it would be more, well, appealing if you tried something like using like indigo or using more colors that are more obscure, but of course not uh but of course you have to try and use it in a way that is a color name that is not nonsensical. One of the ways I like to do this is with Pantone. Do you guys know what Pantone is?
No.
So for those who don't know, Pantone is basically just a color website with a bunch of colors and their names.
Too much colors to be precise.
Yes. But the thing is, one of the good thing is that you get a lot of names for the colors. Some of them are nonsensical, so you have to change it a bit, but it's kind of okay because but most of the time the names are really good, and you can use it a lot during the writing process when you're trying to describe something. There's a lot of sometimes you can just, for example, color of the year is this color of the year 2025 is very the name for the color of this year is very ridiculous, and I do not stand by that. If you don't know what color it is called mocha mousse.
It's
Anyway,
French.
It does look like number 2.
It's French.
what mousse? No.
Yeah, but the way you when you pronounce something, but often with a k instead of ch, that is more often likely to be like European countries like France, for instance.
Well, actually, if you think about that, when we're talking in English, there's a lot of like borrowed French words, especially if you go deep into literature stuff. There's like what déjà vu, cliché, there's a bunch of jargon and terms in literature that are basically just French words.
Or you could drop a ton of words, which has a root from Greek.
Greek,
Yeah,
yeah, most of the
like
time because Greek is derived from Phoenician, which is basically what almost every single language is developed from in the
districts.
eastern part of Europe, in Europe, in the part of Europe, of course.
Yeah, I know that.
Actually, talking about languages, did you guys know that Vietnamese has a lot of French borrowed words?
Yeah, pedant, pedal in French, and then pedant in Vietnamese.
And you like valley, that's the same thing.
Yeah, suitcase.
There's are a lot of like Chinese words that are also borrowed.
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah, sometimes I can like pick off words from my from Chinese. Like, do you know what 天才 means?
Xin chai? No.
Means 天才, genius.
Ah, okay. So you refer to like Journey to the West.
It's almost the same, but it's this just like it has, you know how every single language has its own accent, right? Its own
Yeah,
feel, right? Yeah, it's just like putting the feel into that same word, just different pronunciation.
yeah. Like in Chinese, it's Shifu, and and in the Vietnamese version of Journey to the West, Sư phụ.
Anyways, back to the class. Okay, so I want to see can anyone pick out any like I don't want you guys to just pick out, oh, it's the cranes, oh, it's the mountains. No, I want you guys to try and pick out the parts that you feel like the parts that you feel are interesting and you want to connect something to it. For example, you connect the fact that, oh, maybe these cranes just had a feast from the vast fields. Oh, maybe this is the Mekong River. Oh, things like that. And I want you to get, okay, Toby?
Wait, that was like I accidentally clicked the like raise hand button, so like
Ah, okay, that's fine.
okay.
I want you guys to try and connect each of the details with colors, shapes, sizes, but also pieces of information. Like it can be random, but just a small piece of information that can be trivial, however you like. Anyone wants to go first? Come on, guys. Okay, like for example, I can make an example for you guys here, just for it to be a little bit clearer. Like I can take the sun, for example, the sun, it, sorry. Okay, so what I've did here is the sun is dimming as the moon took its place. The thing is, you can see in this picture there's no moon. But of course, if the sun is um going down, then of course the moon is going to replace it. You're basically trying to do kind of like cause and effect, but without the but you when you try to look at the pictures and try to guess what is going on. Okay, does anyone understand now? Anyone wants to have a go? Does anyone want to have a go? Let's see. Can I call Diana? Do you have any suggestions on something like this? But just on another detail of this picture right here? Okay, does anyone have anything they can think of? Basically, basically the uh thing you need to do is take a detail and then you add it with a piece of information like I did here. Come on, guys. Can anyone have a try? Okay, Lucy?
Mm, as, as the sun started to go down, the cranes flew out of the trees. They grew smaller and smaller with each flap of their wings.
Okay. So as the sun frees okay, Luna?
The sun flew over the mountains in the distance as the yellow grains of rice replaced the young green plants.
Okay. It's actually let me see. The can you tell me like the first half again? I forgot the first half. I'm sorry.
Um, a- as the sun flew over the sky,
Guy. Oh, sorry.
that I think I'll change the last part.
Okay, of course. It's fine.
As the sun flew over the sky, the seasons woke up. The seasons The seasons welcomes the new harvest of golden wheat.
Of golden wheat. Okay. Okay, we've got really good suggestions here. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to give this a try? Okay, Lena.
Well, the mountains rose high with uneven slopes and a sharp peak. Its stony surface marked by deep cracks and what's that called again? Ridges forms through years of natural erosion.
Wait, rose high with
High with rocked rock.
rock formations?
High with rocked like how do I explain rock?
Okay, like can you explain like the blurb and I can help you try to just like
Should I send you my whole sentence?
uh yeah, of course you can just send me the whole sentence.
Excuse me, may I leave? I've got another class.
Okay, of course, yeah.
Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye. More thing though. Guys, can we I actually have like a really important thing coming up. So I don't know if you guys would be okay with changing the schedule like 1 hour early. Is that okay?
4:30.
Yes, 4:30.
Yeah, I suppose it's okay. But you can, yeah, but you're supposed to post it up into the Zello group.
Yeah, I know because I have some things that I need to do for next week. So, anyways, are any of you guys like not okay with it? If so, I can change it a bit more. But if you, I'll say more in the Zalo because, but I won't be able to talk much to you guys because I just lost my Zalo account. I'm going to wait if I can get it back. But in the meantime, I think you guys can contact my mom, but I think it's okay.
You're up to WSC preparations.
No, I'm not going to WSC this year.
The fee is too much.
One thing, the fee's too much. Second thing, I don't really like the WSC style anymore.
What? I hate the scroll. I hate the scholarship challenge. Don't ask me that.
I like WSDC better.
WSDC?
Yeah.
What?
It's like basically like the more like the other version of WSC, but like you can have POIs.
World Schools Debating Championships.
Yep. Okay. Okay, these are really good suggestions. I think this will do for this will do. In the meanwhile, one of the things I really like to tap into is incorporating feelings when you talk, when you in writing. For example, you might feel relaxed, uh you might feel that there is some well, maybe a lot of the times you're just talking about the vibes that you get from the scenery. You can say that, oh, you feel relaxed because of the sound of the river flowing. Oh, it's bir the sound of the bird's wings that surround you. For example, that's it. Or it could be other things like you can hear the breeze that dances through the bamboo, things like that. So, okay, can anyone tell me what they feel when they look at this like at this picture? It can not, I mean, it can just be relaxed, of course. Lisa?
I think people may feel relaxed and peaceful.
Okay, relaxed and peaceful. Lucy?
Calm and happy.
Okay, calm and happy.
And we say your name. What it's
Okay. Do you guys okay, does anyone have any more suggestions? Okay, so I want to see if you guys know this word, but let's try. Does anyone know what this word means? No one? Okay, so nostalgic. Lena.
Well, nostalgic like basically means to feel happy and like also a little sad when you think about things that happened in the past.
Exactly. Here, basically nostalgic is you just reflecting on what happened. Usually what happens in your childhood. For example, I grew up in a really small townhouse. I moved to Da Nang a few years ago. So when I see pictures of fields, sometimes I do think back. I want to express the fact that I think back of the time when I was still living in the townhouse. So for example, like that. Nostalgic is a lot of things that people feel when they look at things that happened in their childhood, not that they like. It's a kind of like bittersweet. You think about it and sometimes it can make you feel sad because oh, you're not living in that sort of dream anymore. Things like that. Okay. Uh okay, so third thing is personification, metaphors, and similes. So as I explained at the beginning of this lesson, personification is basically you talking about an inanimate object and talking about it as if it was alive. You can say by things like doing human things, talking, or it could be about them having emotions, feelings. That's called personification. So, can anyone have any uh can anyone make any suggestions on personification and on metaphors, similes, whatnot? Does anyone want to have a go? Okay, Lucy?
For personification, the wind whispered in my ear, and for metaphors, the the river is a shining mirror. And for similes, The sun is as bright as gold.
The sun is as bright as gold. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Can I give a suggestion?
Yeah, of course.
You, Lucy asked you to wrote the sun was as bright as gold. You wrote the sun is bright as gold.
Oh, sorry. Okay, anyone else? Toby?
The mountains, they are like giant monsters.
They're like giant monsters, okay? Anyone else? Come on, guys.
Can you please show me the image again because I'll
Here.
okay.
Hey guys, come on. Okay, Alex.
Okay. The cranes are as white as snow.
Cranes.
I think was. I mean, sorry.
Okay, Lena.
Well, the birds seem to hurriedly tell each other to fly home.
Birds. Okay. I think you guys can do pretty well with sensory aspects here, especially with how you guys did on the last class. So with all of these things, Lena, do you have any questions or something?
No, for some reasons it kept raising.
Okay. So with all of these things, I can always send you guys it in the chat. I want to see if you guys can try and write. I don't want like a whole paragraph, but maybe just a little bit. I don't want you guys to go in depth too much, just like a short writing about this part right here. And if you guys need me and if you guys click on that link, you guys can see the notes that I've made on here. There is also which is a paragraph that I wrote earlier before this class. If you guys need any help on if you guys need any help on writing it, you can just ask me. If you have any ideas that that you're stuck on, you can reference this however much you like. Okay, guys, I'll give you guys 10 minutes.
Are we supposed to send it in a chat?
Yep, if you yeah. If you're done, you can send it in the chat.
So we have to write a paragraph describing this picture.
Yes, so
Oh,
of course the notes are here. You guys can see all of the notes. If you need anything, you can just ask me. There's also this for reference if you guys need. And it's 13, so we'll be done. So I'll set a timer for 6:23, okay?
bạn nói khi mong mẹ về á, bạn nói khi mong mẹ về á, bạn không nhắn ba gì hả? À,
Hello. Có về rồi đây. Chọn áo gì không? Cái đầu thì nó là nó còn
Hey guys, 5 minutes left.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Could we write any scene we want?
We are doing the exercise where we write the scene here on the picture.
Okay,
But
so
of course,
we do this.
one of the more exercises, I will let you guys write the scene on your own volition.
So you mean we can do any scene we want?
In the next exercise, not this exercise, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Chơi gì đó. Em chơi đâu mà.
Okay, guys, time's up. Everyone, please wrap up please wrap up your paragraph. It doesn't need to be that long. You can write as much or as little as you want. I'll give you guys 5 more minutes, okay? Let's see if I'll give you guys 5 more minutes. Please wrap up your paragraph by now.
Ai vô rồi, cha đi.
Nghe này hơi vậy đó. Nghe vậy thì em nhớ này không? Cái này là em nhớ rất rồi.
Không chưa? Hả?
Nhớ nè.
Không chưa?
Làm sao rồi?
Xong rồi. Sắp đây bữa đi, bữa mình tiếp tục.
Sao này nè? Cái này đúng không?
Em xem những lúc đó vẽ mình cười rất chưa có vẽ nữa.
Đây là có.
Nha. Nha.
Ừ. Không.
Trời ơi, cả hôm qua thôi, luôn thôi. Bán chuyện sao nổi luôn. Làm đi. Đang làm bài tập luôn hả?
Ờ,
Không tập hả?
vậy thì con có cắn không? Hút thuốc các mẹ ơi. Phải không?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was on mute. Can anyone read this aloud to the class? Lucia, can you read this aloud? Lucia, can you read this aloud to the class?
Okay. 1. The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. It was the sweetest, most mysterious looking place that anyone could imagine. The high walls which shut it were covered in leafless stems of climbing roses, which were so thick that they matted together. There were numbers of standard roses that had spread their branches that they were like little trees. There are other trees in the garden, and one of the things Mary had liked the best were that they were all bare, but were so thick with moss and so gnarled in the branches that they looked like as if they had been drawn with brown crayon by a child. She walked under one of the trees, looked up at the gray sky, and listened to the wind blowing through the branches.
Okay, can anyone point out any personification, any similes, metaphors in this text? Can anyone point out any similes or metaphors in this text? Can anyone please tell me some of the similes and metaphors in this text? Ken?
One of them is the Mary has liked the best sentence. It uses as if.
Can you please repeat? I didn't Where exactly is
What?
it?
It is Mary had liked the best and to buy a child. And that whole sentence is a metaphor. But the clause when it starts is actually from the but.
Okay, you mean the as if here, right?
Yeah, but to a child.
So the but to by a child. Thing is, as if here as well. Anyone else? Toby?
I think it was the wind blowing through the branches.
The wind blow. Let me see. The wind blowing through the branches. Oh, I said this would for you to try and find similes and metaphors. Okay, so one of the things here is that there are quite a bit of metaphors and similes here. Like, for example, I would say here, which this is a simile. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there were a number of standard roses. So the thing that we're talking about here is the standard roses that have spread their branches and the fact that they look like trees. Here, you can see that they were like. This is the part where you can see that it was for the you can see for the simile. One of the other things is that it also has a lot of sensory details. It also has a lot of visuals. For example, you could see that I don't know if you guys know this word, matted. Does anyone know what matted means?
It's like dense, too dense. That it looks like a mat.
Almost correct. If you guys know, there is two things there is an opposite word for the word matte, which is glossy. So basically, glossy is when something is shiny. For example, if let's see. Well, there are a lot of shiny things, but some of them wouldn't be described as matte. For example, if you had matted hair, hair always has a sheen to it. It always has a shine. But when you have matted hair, it doesn't have its shine. Basically, it means that it is color. It doesn't have a shine that it normally does. Matte just means that it is solid color. It doesn't have any shine. So what it means here is that they were so thick that they matted together. It means here that it is sticking together to the point where when you have a source of light from it, it doesn't shine with how leafless stems does. You can see that flower stems, rose stems, they all shine when there's light to it. But these were so matted, these were thick. These were thick. Probably they were also lacking water to the point that they were matte. So this is one of the nuances that you would have if you read into the text. One of the more things is that the word gnarled. Does anyone know what gnarled means? Does anyone know what gnarled means? No one? Okay, so gnarled is something that is rough, twisted, and especially old. For example, usually to describe trees, of course. So you were saying that the branches were bare, it was very twisted, it was dry, it was old, basically that. The word gnar, basically from the word gnarled is derived from the word gnar, which basically means knot in Old English. That's one way for you to remember what the meaning of words means. So yeah, one of the ways you see that so in this text they incorporated a lot of sensory details. They tried to talk a lot about materials, materials like matte, gnarled, things like that. Instead of just talking about these, instead of just talking about the details alone. So when you try to use more exotic words like this, it might make a pull when we're reading. Of course, words that are rare, such as gnarled here, when you use them too much, it will become very stiff and very let's just say very hard to read because the reader would have to get a dictionary by their side at all times. But the thing is, when you have these words sprinkled throughout, sprinkled for just dramatic effect, it would create a really good effect for your writing because it would make it more interesting as well as is having that really dynamic pull to your own writing and making your own style. Okay, another sorry, this is another excerpt. Okay, Toby, can you read this aloud?
Walden by Henry David Thoreau. This is a delicious evening, even when the whole body is one sense, and imbibes delight through every pore. I go and come with a strange liberty in nature, a part of herself. As I walk along the stony shore of the pond in the moonlight, I hear the faint lapping of the waves, feel the cool wind brushing past me, and smell the earthy scent of moss and damp leaves. The lake is smooth as glass, reflecting the moonlight like a path of silver. In such moments, I forget myself entirely. I am not a man, but a part of the landscape, breathing and watching with it.
Okay, thank you. So, can anyone point out any personifications, metaphors, similes, any of that? Can anyone point out any metaphors? I see quite a bit of metaphors sprinkled in here. Alex.
Okay, so I found a simile with me a little bit. The lake is smooth as glass.
The lake is as smooth as glass.
Uh, Reflecting the moonlight like a part of silver.
Okay, another part here.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Toby.
I think it was the faint lapping of the waves.
The faint lapping of the waves. This is neither metaphor nor simile, but it is a really, really good use of words when it comes to trying to describe auditory ideas. Ken?
It's a personification and liberty in nature, a part of herself.
Okay. This is personification, yes. Okay. So, do any of you guys know what the voice of reverence is? Anyone? Okay, so basically what the voice of reverence is something that embodies respect and almost sense of awe when you describe something that is better or say better than yourself. Usually say by confident, calm. When you try to write with the voice of reverence, you would write in a very calm, confident voice to try and express the truth of a message. Like, for example, you can, yes? Okay. Anyways, the voice of reverence is basically when you try to acknowledge, for example, here, which is nature, and reflecting about something like reflecting about something very big. Usually this is used for philosophy papers, I'd say. But in Walden by Henry David Thoreau, it is used to describe nature here. So you can see that there is a lot of auditory parts and the smell, there's also a lot of metaphors and similes with personification as well. So when you try to incorporate these things, you would make it, of course, the writing would feel more fluent, it would feel better, it would feel more authentic. And one of the most important things is that you can imagine and immerse yourself in the writing itself. Okay, so what I want you guys to do for this for the homework of this class, for the homework this week, is to write a paragraph. I'd say about 70 words. More is okay. If you can't write as much, then it's fine. But around 70 words is all right. Take inspiration from excerpts writing about nature. You can find many of them in Google Scholar. And try to write a scene of your choosing about nature. Okay? It would be on the homework turnaround here. Remember to go to lesson 4. As always, you have a page to yourself. Everyone, when you're done, you can just go down a bit so that there is a blank piece of paper for someone else to write in, okay? I will be sending the homework back for you guys to on Zello in case you guys forget or can't write it down. Okay, so we'll end class here, guys. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye.
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 Bye.